In the UK, there's a persistent rumor that the Middleton family extinguishes fires with gasoline. Uncle GY on the British Big Brother B is spilling the beans big time. Additionally, today we've learned that Kate Middleton's brother James, whom we talked about yesterday, is going to write his memoirs. They're really giving the brother a hard time, and the truth is, he's one of the least toxic and healthiest elements within that whole family, somewhat connected to the English royals. Anyway, amidst all these rumors, they're getting to know William's intentions regarding his marriage to Kate Middleton. It's being referenced once again to the year 2023 and the information that came out about the lover Rose Hamburg. Well, some information that has left no one indifferent, and we're going to tell you about in this video. They say that in late 2023, William asked for a divorce from Kate Middleton, and that this was the trigger for the crisis that ended with her hospitalized. We already talked about this. But now, more details have resurfaced. William wants Rose Hamburg, who he wants to accompany him on the throne, who he wants to be with, who he wants to marry. I have to remind you that this lady is also married. And William's intention was to prepare a campaign against Kate to be able to divorce her, which he had actually already begun. It's just that it's come at a bad time because right now people are concerned about Kate Middleton and all this secrecy. The chronological analysis from 2023 until now leaves us with newspaper headlines and even some witnesses who have revealed the truth about the relationship of the Prince of Wales behind the scenes. We're talking about the period from September 2023 to February 2024. It was in late December 2023 when it was published that they would officially travel to Italy in early January 2024. December 25th was the last time Kate Middleton, her children, and her parents were seen together, except now in early March when those controversial photos appeared. We don't know if the photos are recent, as the British press isn't paying attention to them or confirming their authenticity. However, 3 days after Christmas Day, on December 28, 2023, an ambulance with a police escort left Sandringham, where the royal family was spending the Christmas holidays. Witnesses say they saw it and took photographs, which were published on Twitter the same day. They added how strange it was that no media covered this information the following day or in the subsequent days. This detail, I believe, is unprecedented, or at least I haven't heard of it before. An ambulance with a police escort at Sandringham, where the Windsors were spending Christmas. It's also noted that there was no official statement or declaration from the royal family. The next thing that happens is that 5 days after the ambulance incident, on January 7th in the UK's Daily Mirror and on January 3rd in the US's New York Post, note the difference in dates, an article was published discussing the strong arguments between William and Kate. We're talking about shouts, throwing objects, him shouting a lot, him having tantrums. By the way, it coincides somewhat with the portrait his brother Harry paints in the biography about one of their last encounters. He says this proves that the English press knows perfectly well what's going on with the couple, and that they also wanted to put them both on the same level. He believes that she is one step lower because she doesn't belong to the British royals, and therefore, she's a sort of commoner. All of this is published before the story of the scheduled abdominal surgery that we mentioned on the 16th of January. They also say that nobody from Kate's circle has mentioned any abdominal problems. That's true, we don't have any statement from the family referring to all of this, except for a scheduled surgery. We already talked about how nobody knew about this, and Kensington tried to excuse it by saying that they wanted to keep it as private as possible. They mentioned how strange it is that nobody was seen visiting her, only William the next day, no sign of her parents or family. They gave the excuse that at the London clinic, they need the doctor's permission due to protocols from what happened in 2020. They also mentioned that no member of the royal family except Harry and Meghan, curiously, has publicly wished her a speedy recovery. None of them talk about Kate, perhaps because they don't want to be caught up in it. In what would later be discovered as a lie, they say that discussing the toxic pattern of their marriage was the first and last time, so far, that the English press dared to publish it, and it was in those early days of January. It speaks of something surprising that happened in January with the Daily Mirror. He says that this newspaper comes to do what William wants, meaning they exercise a kind of spokesperson role. While Kate had been unseen for many days, there was a day when a front page featuring Kate was changed to Harry with the same headline and content. The name and photo were swapped. We commented on this at the time, but the idea was the same. The same words saying that Kate could be, in quotes, your best friend, and the next minute, your worst enemy. But this phrase was put with Harry, talking about a supposed emotional imbalance. This person says that for whatever reason, they backtracked and put Harry in the spotlight, and behind all this would be Kensington Palace, and therefore Prince Charles. There was another front page of a British newspaper, indeed, if I'm not mistaken. I believe it was also the Mirror, at the end of January, around the 25th, 26th, or 27th, which only focused on Kate, her photo without William. And the text was quite strange because they emphasized again a certain emotional imbalance. And at a time when she was supposedly fighting for her life, that was odd. A clear attack against her, like a kind of campaign, which we didn't know where it came from, but it was a bit unclear what was happening. Then came the magazine, the English version and the North American version. I can't remember exactly which one it was. I don't remember right now, but it talked about William's alleged alcohol addiction problems. I think the German press published this, but indeed, it was from an article in an international magazine that is sold in English-speaking countries. Well, it said that William would have a kind of alcohol addiction, that he liked cocktails with a bit of an explosive nature. It even talked about different mixes that included a drink as strong as absinthe, and that Kate begged him to please stop because it was worrying the palace environment and taking a toll on their marriage. This was already an attack against William. But personally, I believe these attacks come from his stepmother and her tentacles. That's my opinion. I'm adding this myself. But it seems that there is a use of the press by one against the other, with a view to divorce, gaining public image, and it seems that once again, Carol Middleton, whom we've already talked about on this channel, would be planting, facing her son-in-law. It already surprised us quite a bit that Kate distanced herself from her entire family right after leaving the London clinic. Then we heard that, of course, they tried to justify it, like saying that her father went on vacation to the Caribbean. It was vacations he already had planned. Some royal chroniclers said, well, that's because Kate is already in constant recovery and so on. Now, with this guy James Middleton's memoirs, they're also trying to throw some dirt on him. Like, hey, if your dog saved your life, you're going to capitalize on it big time. But to me, it seems that in this regard, this guy doesn't harm anyone. He has acknowledged the problems he has had, but has also explained how he has overcome them. And beyond that, in recent years, we haven't heard anything bad about him. The most we can say is that her husband is a character we'll talk about someday. And she has had relationships, in my opinion, whoever she wants, but this is a bit of the... But this. Criticism directed at Kate's family. And now they're going after the mother because they say she was the one who leaked that photograph, sold it for economic interests, and so on. Personally, I don't entirely agree with this. It seems to me that many pieces of information come from the upper circles, from Mrs. Camilla, who needs to stand out, considering that Kate Middleton is the mainstay of the monarchy in terms of popularity right now in the British royal family. This is a fact, that's it. It's curious. There's something I do want to say, though. These factions that want to pit William and Kate against Harry and Meghan have a spectacular image internationally, but especially in the United States. They are living, and yet in the United Kingdom, they are not as popular due to these articles. Well, they practically blame them for everything that happens in the world. These British tabloids directed by Camilla herself. Interestingly, by focusing on hammering Harry, those who rise in popularity are not precisely Camilla and Charles, but William and Kate. So, it's a bit of a media war, and I felt like saying it because it seems fair. In any case, we return a bit to William and Kate. If he says we won't see her until Easter, she suddenly appears with her mother, seen inside a car in early March, within shooting distance for 2 photos. Actually, just 1 photo. It's curious that it's a photo and not, for example, a video. I mean, a professional would do it that way because it would have better quality, but well, if he says they won't be published in the UK, it seems she or her mother manages to get them published in the United States. If the mother tells the press they were returning, from taking the children to school, he ensures that today it's published that he always takes the children to school. He postpones the appearance dates. They say we won't see Kate Middleton after Easter, and the mother says either she or both of them want her to be seen, that she may start attending some events. Personally, I have some doubts about those photos. This war of headlines is also fueled a bit by the British Fourth Estate, by the press, and specifically by some tabloids. Regarding the rumors of William's infidelity and addictions, it's true there might be some things, but ultimately, he's the one who's pulling the cart right now. This remains a distressing and difficult situation for him, for William. As for the issue with Rose Hamber, I'm not so sure. But if we look at the precedents, Camilla was married to the other one and maintained the relationship with Charles there. The history is repeating itself as with Lady Di. I don't know, from my perspective, Rose Hurry has a similar look to Camilla. And in that sense, I'm not sure if it would be the best thing for the British monarchy, or if, in this case, and unlike what happened with Charles and Camilla, people would be as willing to accept it as if nothing had happened. And as for Kate Middleton, to directly relegate her wouldn't be a smart move. I imagine that some political aspects will also come into play here. Regarding William's addictions, well, I think we all understand that the United Kingdom is precisely a country with a culture of alcohol, and well, I don't know if I should say substances, but it's more normalized than perhaps in other countries. So I don't know to what extent this would be frowned upon in the UK. It's a problem if it affects your routine and your position, of course. Personally, I believe that there could be rumors of a bad relationship at the end of 2023 that could be caused by these two things: infidelity and addiction. But I want to say that we're also in a time when, if Carlos divorced Lady Di to marry Camilla in the 90s, I don't understand what the scandal would be if they had to divorce now. The only thing I wonder about is the issue that the successor would ascend to the throne, so to speak, single. But I don't know. In any case, it's a complex issue. This is what has been said about the brothers' memoirs, as there is little published about it, and personally I take it with a grain of salt because I have a good opinion of this guy. For now, I'll leave it here. If we have more data, we'll discuss it. So that's it for now. Share your opinions in the comments, subscribe, hit the bell icon, give a thumbs up to support the channel, and more videos here and on the secondary channel. Thank you for being here.